Hello, Pisces. Thank you guys for being so patient. I changed addresses and locations. I had to get the Wi-Fi switched over, a whole bunch of stuff. But how are you, Pisces? Thank you so much for your support through April and through 2017. Pisces, I really appreciate you joining me here at this moment in space and time for this, your mid-April 2017 general reading. So let's look for hidden energies, hidden messages, stuck energies, and healing messages for Pisces and people under the influence of Pisces. I hope you guys are all in a place of abundance and comfort, warmth, prosperity, all the good things that drives us, keeps us getting out of bed each and every day, right? That's what we're here. That's what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm up at the big table. Some things have changed. Production value is up, like it says in the description box. Hopefully there's not as much glare with the finished product or anything like that coming out through these readings so you guys can enjoy them even more. And speaking of enjoyment, we've got Seven of Pentacles up here. So this card speaks strongly to what can be done to balance our hard work versus our enjoyment, our effort versus our reward. We're kind of evaluating here, is all of the time, hard work, and effort that we've put into certain projects going to yield the amount of fulfillment that we originally had hoped when we started the project? Sometimes certain projects or certain avenues they don't really, you kind of get halfway through them and you realize, maybe for collectors can resonate. You start collecting one thing and, halfway, you spend X, Y amount of dollars. And then you realize, well, this might not even be worth collecting in the first place. Or somebody might be working towards a creative project or some time, and they might get 80 to 100 hours put in, and they realize, well, it's just maybe too monotonous for whatever the finished product is, right? And this could be crafting. Anything that you're doing that requires your consistent attention, effort, and dedication to a finished product that you may in turn just be like, oh, well, is it just going to collect dust now? Is it going to be profitable in any way? What those kinds of energies. So as we're moving through April, for those Pisces that are out there that are thinking of undertaking new projects, new ideas, and new developments, I'd almost encourage you to look down the road and kind of that know thyself, is what you're undertaking or about to undertake, are you going to be happy with it, in 10 weeks or 10 months or a year from now? Is it really? And I want you to kind of evaluate that before you guys are investing lots of money, time, resources, and energy into it. The Seven of Pentacles can also mean that you guys could be just waiting on something, a situation to develop, to unfold, or something to come to light that maybe you already have the keen heads up about. Pisces is awesome about seeing opportunities and ways of making money in areas that the other signs, they just wouldn't even it wouldn't even faze them. They wouldn't even bother them. They wouldn't even think to look there, right? So that's good energy for you to have there, Pisces. It looks like it could be financially a pretty good week, a pretty good end of April for you here. Just be careful of certain investments. Make sure it's what you really want. Okay, grounding energy. We have in the root chakra up, it's a beautiful color red for our root chakra, but is the Three of Swords, although it is Three of Swords reverse. So the sense I have here, and I'm going to use the big B word here in Pisces, breakup, right? For those of you that have come through a breakup, and I think you may have been the one that's initiated breakup, but now you're kind of wondering or maybe worried that you may have a little bit of guilt of if you might have broken somebody's heart here. I don't see you intentionally messing with somebody's heart, but it just kind of almost the feeling is that you've pulled the pin on a situation that you kind of looked to the future and you knew that down the road this isn't exactly what you wanted, or maybe there was somebody else that was also always along on the sideline that as you got into a relationship. I see these short relationships kind of getting heated up and then fizzling out and playing out, and then somebody kind of gets a little bit hurt in the end. So with Three of Swords in the upright, do what you can to console others that, maybe you just know somebody that's been through a really rough, tumultuous breakup, and that you have some kind words and guidance to help them. Or if you're staying amicable with the person that you've broken up with, don't be shy to give them the encouragement the confidence that they need to move forward, as long as they're not being too clingy, stalkerish, or attached to you. You know, you can hopefully have that leeway to help. And yourself too. If you're feeling guilty that you got out of a relationship and you know that person really didn't do anything maybe to deserve it, maybe you just weren't feeling the spark anymore, or maybe somebody else came along that like you were a lot more attracted to or you saw yourself with in the longer term, don't be too hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up over that, Pisces. There's a lot going on in your sign, and I do have a feeling like relationships, especially for the younger viewers, you guys are really like testing the waters. You may love a certain thing that you know your boyfriend or girlfriend or your theirs or them's does for you, right? But it's kind of like in the moment. It's tough for you to visualize a future with them, so to speak. Okay, we're going to leave it at that. We might come back to that depending on what's going on in your other houses. Oh, good energy. The Fool in your sacral energy. Great. So some of you definitely are. You just weren't feeling that magic anymore. You weren't feeling that spark. And I think that these relationships, like you just called it, before they got too emotionally heavy, too in deep, right? The Fool is a good energy to have in your creative centers because the Fool is like... you know, the Fool doesn't care. Honey Badger don't care, right? The Fool doesn't care. You can go ahead, and as long as you're not too investing, you can try your hand at this, you can try your hand at that, and you can simply, as long as you don't get in too deep from it, you can simply walk away from it. And this is a resounding energy of what we have. So expect this to continue. If this isn't really like sort of resonating, you're like, oh, I don't really have any experiences about what he's talking about so far. Just kind of know that as we come into the end of April, make sure that you aren't like contracting or obligating yourself to things that like it's almost like you're the prison warden of your own jail cell if you're not acting with this Fool energy, right? You could like feel like, oh, I'm committed now, or oh, I'm in too deep, or you know what, I said I would, so I'm there. But the Fool in your sacral energy is just saying like, you know what, if you want to be free, if you want to walk away from things, obligations, contracts, as long as you're not, legally bound here, then just do so. Don't worry about it. The energy is favoring you to be like a free-range chicken. You know, you kind of go eat a little, you cluck a little bit over there, and then you run over here for a little while, do something else, right? Whatever makes you happy in the moment, that's what the Fool is doing, right? As long as we're not breaking any hearts along the way, so there could be some lessons learned here in this as you're clearing up from these stuck energies and liberating yourself. And again, because it's in the sacral energy, this could be like sexual energy. That we could see Pisces here that are kind of like maybe thinking about having a couple partners or establishing boundaries in current relationships where they're like, okay, I want this to be an open relationship. Or we could be, you know, getting down and busy, you know, once a week or a couple times every month, but we're not mutually exclusive, and we may have to set those boundaries with other people because that energy is very dominant. You know, it's very unsettled, and not unsettled in a bad way. It's like unsettled in like you don't feel like you have to like, you know, bend and conform to what other people's expectations are at this time. Okay? Now, up in gut instinct, we have Four of Swords. So here, more active, more vibrant energy, more getting out and about, more not willing to just do Netflix and chill again and again and again with the same old partner or with yourself. It's almost like you guys here are putting on the jogging pants and you're going out and you're rollerblading or you're riding bicycle or whatever you want to do, right? To keep the circulation up. We really got the blood pumping here is the feeling I have, is like a lot of you are out really getting your cardio in, or you're actively like going out to like situations and social places where you're interacting, you're mingling with people, you're sharing ideas, and you know, so that's really good energy to see with Four of Swords. It's almost like you guys did a lot of self-reflection at one point in time, and now it's really time to like sort of elevate your game. You're going to step it up a little bit. You're not going to be really feeling like so isolated or bogged down by like, okay, well, maybe it's raining out. Well, you know what? I'm going to put on a raincoat and I'm going to go jump up and down in the mud puddles. But that's just a metaphor for getting into it, getting after it, you know, getting down and dirty with whatever it is that you want to be chasing after. The realization that you came to about what's important to you is now the time that you're going to go after it, okay? So, if anything's holding you back, it could be like just make sure we're not overspending, because there could be temptation, I think, for Pisces to do some overspending as well in their pursuits towards the end of this month. Okay, now we have our first court card up in your reading for mid-April here, Pisces, and this has to do with a fire sign. We'll look externally at a person in your life that this could be right now here, someone with a lot of fire in their charts. Traditionally, the fire in the chart would indicate that this person has Sagittarius, Leo, Sun, Moon, or Rising, right? Or Aries, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Now, this person could be somewhat quite domineering. This could be someone that's like really fully involved or self-actualized in their own life. So they've like got their T's crossed and their I's dotted in terms of which direction they're going, what they want out of life, and in fact where they are at. And if they are there in your life, this significant fire sign, and this person is in your heart or has touched you in your heart, know that they are there for a reason. Know that they want to be there, okay? So if this fire sign or this person with fire is giving you mixed signals on day to day of like maybe they're out like cheating around on you, or maybe they're just maybe you're so caught up in them that you're having a harder time like trusting in yourself or seeing that it's too good to be true. You got to realize that they are there in your life they want to be there, right? For a reason, and they want to be there. Sometimes with fire, there is a risk of infidelity. If something comes along that is a lot better, you may have this shared fool energy. So what we're talking about of setting boundaries, if you do not wanting to be mutually exclusive with a fire sign, especially if they're in Aries, you kind of want to get that established so nobody's left doing any guessing, right? But it's good. If we're looking at this is a person in your heart that is complimenting you, that is balancing you, that is allowing you to feel very passionate and very liberated. So that's very good. If we want to internalize this card, we can look at the King of Wands as aspects of our emotional self, where sometimes we're really becoming emotionally attached to our passions and to our projects and to our feelings. Sometimes when we undertake things here, Pisces, we're doing it with all our heart, all our soul, and it's not that you're narrowly focused, but people will take note. People will sort of understand that, you're in your element, you're in your zone when you're doing what it is that you love, that what you're attached to, that what we said, and whatever it is, what you're wanting to bring into your life, whatever the query or the question was, you're doing it with full heart, with full passion, and like you're not doing anything half-assed, or you're not half-stepping by any means, if we want to look at this in terms of internally. So that's kind of counterintuitive to what we said. Like, you're free to bounce about in between projects. Don't be afraid to walk away from things. But in this overall energy, maybe what you're invested here is a lot of feeling, a lot of emotion, right? And you want to be a little bit wary of stretching yourself too thin when it comes to like doing one thing on a Monday and then maybe something else on Tuesday, and then by the weekend you're doing something totally different, right? That kind of thing. And it's just one of those things. When you pour your heart into something, you have to make sure that you're not leaving pieces of it behind when you do walk away. I don't know what that means exactly, but it came out. So, more court cards here. Well, now we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Now let's internalize this court card first, because we did have Pentacles up in the overall energy. And we see 7 moving into Knight. The feeling that I have here is that you guys are kind of moving through your paycheck pretty good. I feel like you got like resources going out, resources being spent, resources being invested here. And this could be like, not that it's not within your control, but you're actually feeling obligated to spend money on certain things. And this could have to do with children. This could have to do with, like, I'm almost picturing like getting a car up and going, getting transportation, like insurance fees, car registrations, things like this up in order. And like, it's kind of like putting a little tug on your financial. Or this could just be a simple reminder that make sure that we're checking in with everything that we were past obligated to. It's more so than bills. It's almost like, credit checks, things like that, credit applications, or whatever it is. Maybe you joined Book of the Month Club and now they're asking for their $69.99. Or maybe you had one final payment at a dentist, and the bill is laying in a shoebox way over there, in the back of the closet. You're like, oh, I forgot about that. I don't want to accrue any more bad interest or things like that, right? So make sure that you're being true to yourself, that all of you're watching your back when it comes to your money, that you're not leaving yourself open for anybody to get their hands into their purse strings as well. The feeling I get here is some of you might be like being approached, like, or really tempted to like go with like offers, like people approaching you in a shopping mall, or maybe you're on a home shopping network and you're like, I like this, but I like that, and I like this. Like, can we really afford all three? That kind of thing as well. This could be relationships where now shared resources and money is sort of taking a forefront in terms of where your commitment levels lie with a fire sign as well. There is a potential that if there's been money lent out in a relationship, in a friendship, that we are talking about this, that we're reminding the other partner, or possibly reminding ourselves that we are indebted, or that somebody is indebted to us. Okay, we're talking about that. I have Pentacles up in communication, personal truth. Interesting to see it there. All right, moving on up now to the east side of our pineal glands. We've got Two of Swords. And the west side of the whole pineal gland. We've got Two of Swords up here in reverse. So this could be meaning that you are coming from a time, and it really kind of enforces what we've been saying here. There's like multiple projects going different directions, deciding where to go, where to put resources in, and then we're pouring our heart into it. So something's going to happen here, I feel, in these next 2 weeks, Pisces, where you're going to make a final decision about who you're wanting to be with, or where you are wanting to go with your time and energy. It's almost like you had two really resounding, awesome opportunities, and they could have been pulling you in different directions, in different ways, right? But you're coming to understanding. It's amazing we don't have Ace of Swords. We've got the Three of Swords reversed, now the Two of Swords. It's almost like you guys are kind of like whittling away at options. You were presented with maybe even like, we have Four of Swords, Two reversed. Look at this. Four of Swords reversed, Three of Swords reversed, Two of Swords reversed. So, and with the Fool energy here, it's almost like you guys are doing a great job of not overthinking all the bullshit right now. And that's awesome. And effectively, you've been able to like whittle away at like certain options or opportunities. You're like, okay, well, I'm not going to take Jimmy. I'm not going to date Timmy. I'm not going to take Johnny. You know, there's Jeffrey over there. And then finally you make your decision. You come to that point where you're like, you've taken 3 or 4 options and you've whittled them down to the very best ones, so that you guys are very much aware that you make sure that you're not having any wasted time here due to like having to mentally work your way through some muck and some mire of some different energies. So that's really good. That's really good. We've almost got like a straight going on here with these swords, all in reverse, these lower number pip swords. So it's really good. If you're feeling like worried or guilty a little bit about being a little bit too flighty right now, don't worry about it. Just chill. The energy around you is actually favoring it right now. And your partner could be looking at it with great adoration, with, you know, you're like almost like turning them on because, you know, you are just kind of bouncing around the room kind of thing. And you're a delight to be around right now, Pisces. Okay? It's really good. I thought I was going to see the Ace of Swords. I would have like thrown the camera on the wall and run around naked around the block. Like, cards freak me out sometimes the way they come up. But we don't have Ace of Swords. We have Six of Pentacles. So now talk about connections and talk about progressions in life. We've got 6 and 7 of Pentacles up here now. 6 of Pentacles, this is in your crown chakra energy. So this is what's coming down. The universe is saying here, where are we putting our time? And are we like really moving through these situations with fairness so that we're not generating any bad karma for yourself? This is the challenge. To be this flighty, to enjoy and bask in who we are, to bring light and joy to other people's lives, but not doing it in a way where it's kind of like we're leaving anybody behind, or we're not giving other people closure that they're seeking about us, which in turn could generate a bit of bad karma if we're not too careful, right? Six of Pentacles is a card of fairness. It's a card of how are we allocating our resources and how are we, in terms of our giving and our receiving, is what's going out resources-wise equivalent to what's coming in. So again, for those of you that were following that timeline of like having to watch the overspending because we've got so many things that we're interested in, so many things that we want to be doing, we just have to be very careful. We just have to really kind of, maybe even at the end of the day here, disseminate, like let's pull out the day planners here. Let's pull out like call the online banking or get onto the online banking and make sure at the end of the day, if we've spent $42.38 and we know that we have $872 left because we know maybe there could be an issue with a car or an issue with a larger ticket item that we need to get a project undergoing. There's our flipper. We got the card of the giraffes. I love this card. I get this a lot in these general readings, and it's the last card in this Oracle map deck. I want you guys just to kind of cue in on it right now. And this is the card of encouragement, card number 54. And you see a giraffe there that's taller. Jeez, and I crack myself up. A giraffe that is like a little bit older and wiser, just letting the younger giraffe know that it's going to be okay, that it's going to be all right, no matter what the situation is. So that for me comes directly back to this timeline here of we may be in situations where the breakups were a lot harder for one half than they were for the other, but it's almost like you're in a position to sort of on a platonic level go back to that person and say like, it's okay, you didn't do anything wrong. The traditional it's not you, it's me type story, but in a more heartfelt way. You just have to be like, you know what, it's nothing you did, it's not because of the way you look, it's nothing like that. The understanding here is that, we're just we're not aligned, or we don't have the same goals in life, and maybe even setting them up with somebody else that you might know. So, number 54, encouragement. Quote, you are receiving a nudge in the right direction, end quote. This card tells you that you're being greatly encouraged to step into your power, into the dream of your life. New things are out there to be explored and nurtured, and the nurturing power of the universe is giving you a nudge in the right direction. You will get the help you need and won't be alone in your quest. Every step you take right now is supported by the wisdom of the universe. You are on the right path. Keep going. And I would say, yes, you are on the right path. To see these little swords that are reversed, like 4, 3, and 2 of swords, it's almost like you guys are moving through it. You're using deductive reasoning to get what is best for you. And you're actually kind of intuitively being shown through your own meditations and through your own work and reflection, affirmations and things of that nature, and knowing, like, proving to yourself what it is you want versus what it is that you might think that you want, right? Because that sometimes becomes a dynamic energy there too, is like the heart and the mind are kind of playing around in two separate avenues, right? What your mind thinks you want, or instant gratification versus, holding out for the grander prize, right? Okay, Pisces, that was your mid-April reading. Know that I love you all, and we'll see you next time.